Hi guys, so I finished The Sun, the Storm, and the Shadows, and I rated it a 4 out of 5. And I had a little bit of trouble rating this one because I was trying to calculate where I was going to put it on the rating scale. This was very slow burn. The reason why I continued reading it was because the characters were really well developed and because the characters were very self-aware and they knew that if they had an issue that they had to communicate it. They knew that if they had something that was like past trauma, they had to explain like, hey, this is something from my past trauma. You may need to navigate this, and then they would work together to navigate it. So I really appreciated that. And the reason why I rated it a 4 out of 5 was because the characters were so well developed, and this world has so much potential to become something a lot greater in the next books that come after this book. And I realized that it was more like a personal thing with me. So that's why I was like, I'm not going to rate it anything lower because this is just more me, where I just wanted a lot more action throughout the book. And I wanted there to be a longer page count. I feel like we had a few action scenes here and there, but I definitely wanted more throughout the entire book. It was a very interesting world, and that's why I'm saying like the page count, I just needed more page count, and the world is very interesting. I love how beautiful and big it is. I'm excited to see more of the world, and I hope we get to explore a lot of it because we got to see like a glimpse, and what we saw was enough for me to be like, okay, I can continue reading these books. I can continue with this, especially after the ending of this book. It leaves off on kind of a cliffhanger. And this is slow burn to the max. Like I like slow burn, but this is slow burn to the max. But the thing that I did enjoy with this was that you were able to build those relationships with the characters instead of like you don't really get to build the relationships with the characters and it's like insta love. No, this one you spend so much time with the characters that you believe that they're actually falling in love with each other. And the way that one pair of characters falls in love with, like they fall in love versus another pair of characters falls in love, is very realistic because on one hand you have this not insta love story, but you have these like enemies to lovers, cutesy romance over here, and then over here you have the we have abandonment issues and we're dealing with our abandonment issues and we're dealing with our past traumas and we have to work together and we don't know if we could trust anybody and we have to overcome that if we're going to end up in a relationship, because if we're both going to have past traumas and we're both are healing, then we have to be able to like compensate for each other's healing. We have to be able to work with each other if this is going to work as a relationship. And I thought both relationships were really cool. Think that the only thing that like I absolutely needed more of was page count and action. If I had more page count and action, I think I would have gotten everything I wanted from this first book, because I definitely wanted to explore the world more, but that's just been me lately. I think in like my past few reviews, it's just been anything that's like 300 pages to 400 pages. I'm just like, I just need more. I need more of the world. I want to explore more of the world. Like when I'm not making Booktok content, I'm playing video games, and most of the reason why I say I like need more of the world is because I am so used to like video games, you being able to like explore a lot of the world. There are some very linear games where you really don't get to explore a lot of the world. You just have to do the main plot, and you can't really veer off and like explore like, hey, what's that? Hey, what's that? That looks interesting. Let me go over there. And this most books have been feeling like very linear, like we're gonna get you to point A to point B, which isn't bad because I I played a lot of linear video games that I like. It's just my attention is very like flighty, and I need like a butterfly to be in the background. I like to hear like side stories, and I like to hear stories from when people were younger. I like to like explore rooms. I like to hear other mysteries of the world. I like subplots, and I like there to be a lot going on at the same time. So my brain is constantly like, okay, so there's that one thing that we have to stress about, but we're dealing with this one thing right now. So it's more of a personal preference, and that's why I'm saying like I had trouble rating this, but when I like broke it down, I realized that this is a really good book. I'm surprised it's not published. Like this needs a publishing deal. There are a couple self-published books that I'm like, y'all need a publishing deal. I need publishing to get it together with this one at least. Here comes the part that I always forget to do. What is the book about? So basically these two girls end up stealing from this high lord, and they have to escape into this forbidden forest, and they end up literally stumbling into fairylands. And while they're in the fairylands, they end up stealing from these two really hot fae guys, two really hot fae males, and we know where that goes. So I really enjoyed. There was a few chapters that I really enjoyed because it felt like a resand POV. Page 183. Page 183. If you guys ever read this book, page 183, that's where we get like one of the first like resand like POVs. And I was just like fangirling because the way that the Fae male was talking about his couple or his girl, and the way that he was just like adoring her and like giving her compliments in his head, it was just so perfect. And I like that it isn't a love triangle because I couldn't, if I read these books or if I read this book and there was a love triangle, I don't think I could do that anymore. I'm glad that they got their own individual pairs because I legit don't know if I could do love triangles anymore. I need something like this. This was really good. The relationships were realistic. Everything in this book was realistic. Like I said, I just need more action. I just need more pages. And I know that can be hard for self-published authors. And I was talking to Ember Holt about this, where more word count leads to higher editor costs, and that is true. Higher page count means more word count, so then that's higher editor costs. So then self-published authors are constantly dealing with this battle of like, what can I put in this book? What can I not put in this book? How do I condense? And that's like really sucky. And that's why I'm hoping I'm hoping that these authors get publishing deals because they deserve it. I want longer books. I want more time in these worlds. Specifically this one, I definitely want more time in this world. I know the second book is out. I heard that there's gonna be a third one, but I don't know when it's coming out. She does have another series called Blood and Brujas coming out, so that I'm excited for that. Yeah, overall, it's a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed this book a lot. There were some times where it was a little too slow burny for me. Too much slow burn, but when it would get to the dialogue and when it would get to the relationships, when it would get to the world building, it would get me really excited because these relationships were on point. The communication between these characters was on point. Like I wasn't even scared that there was going to be like a miscommunication trope or anything because these characters, when they're dealing with something, they're like, let's talk it out. Let's not be quiet about it. And I fucking love that. I love that about this book particularly because the last thing I want is a miscommunication trope, and these characters would be like, hey, I'm having an issue with this. Let's talk about it. Well, go check them out. I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys read it. Have a good day, everybody.